Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Andrew Alvarez, and it is real early. I'm still getting adjusted to the time zone difference. I'm still getting reacclimated to this whole travel thing. But, I promised y'all I would make more videos, and here I am. Thursday morning. It is normally 6 o'clock my time, but I'm in the East Coast, so it's 7 o'clock. Got a few topics of discussion today. We're going to talk about socialism in the Bible. That's right. I'm going to go there. I'm going to get a little pastoral with y'all. I'm going to talk about a decision about the Breonna Taylor case. Before we get into all of that, you know the drill. Go like, go subscribe, hit that bell so you can get alerts. Let me know what you think about my content. My name is Andrew Alvarez, and I am the Latino conservative. So this episode is brought to you by coffee. That's right. Now you see I don't have my mug that I normally like to drink. I'm gonna design me a new one. That one is actually outdated, but I've got coffee. This is a hotel room coffee mug. So let's get right into it. Socialism in the Bible. As a conservative, I've been taught a lot. Been asked a lot of times. Or I should say like this, as a conservative Christian, I've been asked a lot of times, what are my views about socialism? Doesn't the Bible preach about socialism? And I get referred to a passage in the book of Acts. Acts chapter 2, verses 44 and 45. All believers were together and had everything in common. Selling their possessions and goods, they shared with anyone who was in need. My Siri decided to go off. So, Let's break that one down a little bit. All the believers were together and had everything in common. Selling their possessions and goods, they shared with everyone who was in need. That's not a commandment that they were given. They weren't given that as a mandate. We are commanded in the Bible to love each other, and this is what they're doing. They're showing love to one another. There is nowhere in the context of this before or after this passage that says that they were forced to do that. Socialism is forced. You make $5, you bring home 2, or whatever the tax rate or whatever it's going to be like that. So this is not socialism. This is what we call love or charity. There is a big, huge difference in that. Charity is doing something out of the goodness of your heart. Pure love of Christ is what I call it as well. Christ says, if you love me, keep my commandments. There is still no mandate on that. He doesn't force you to do it. In fact, forcing you to obey God and obey the commandments, obey Jesus Christ, is actually anti-Christian, anti-Christ follower. There's nowhere in there that he wants to force you to do that. Now he may compel you a little bit. There's I believe the character, I say character, but I believe the person was Job, who was stricken down. I may be wrong. My theological background of the Old Testament isn't the strongest. I don't remember everything that happened in there, but I do know one person who was stricken down, or who went lame for a while, who couldn't walk, who couldn't talk, who went blind, who was eating grass, acting like a cow. So someone who is has more recollection of the Bible may want to chime in on that one. Leave me a comment below. Let me know who that character was. There is a spot in here, though. Let me point you to a different direction in the Bible. This is in the 2 Thessalonians chapters 2. This is verses 10 through 12. And it says, "For even when we were with you, we gave you this rule. If a man will not work, he shall not eat. We hear that some among you are idle. They are not busy. They are busybodies." Keyword, they are busybodies. "Such people we command and urge in the Lord Jesus Christ to settle down and earn the bread that they eat." Now, there's a couple words in there. It says command, and it says we urge right after that as well. The point on this one is they are idle. They are not busy. They are busybodies. How many of you know that busybody? I know a few busybodies. They don't do anything. there's also a point in here where it says, if a man will not work. It doesn't say if a man cannot work. Will not and cannot are two totally different words as well, two totally different phrases. A man who cannot work is one who refuses to work. And that's where the whole socialism concept is going to be, in my opinion. If we go to socialism, a socialism type of government, right away, half of the people are going to realize that I don't have to work to make a living. I don't have to work to get my daily needs met. I could sit here and let the other half work. Then the other half who are putting in all the work are going to realize, hey, these people are living off of me for free. And if they don't have to work, I don't have to work to have my basic needs met. Then where's the incentive to work and to excel going to be? If I can live off of you or you can live off of me, what would make me or you want to excel in life? It's not about social inequality. Those who scream social inequality are the ones that want to get stuff without doing stuff. And it's not everybody. I understand this. This is just strictly on the economic side. You know me. I'm a fiscal conservative. Very, very, very fiscally conservative. What I make, I want to keep. And what you make, I want you to keep. The whole cannot and will not part work, that is a different topic. Total different. My parents, for example, in their last years, they were relying on Social Security. They couldn't work. My dad was forced into retirement. He drove a truck, a big, huge truck. In fact, if you ever driven in Houston, you have driven over his work. The freeways, he helped build a lot of those freeways with the truck that he drove. But after his second heart attack, he was forced to retire. He couldn't drive anymore. He was a risk. And I understand that. I get that totally, 100%. I agree with that. But all of a sudden, he was relying on Social Security and his retirement fund. My mom couldn't work in the last about 4 or 5 years of her life. Same thing. She was dependent on that Social Security fund. And I get that. Some people can't work. They may work the entire lives, but at the end of their lives, they can't work anymore. Or other people that I know, my sister is very dependent on that too. She cannot work. She is disabled. She cannot work. She has tried to work, tried to make a living for herself, but she can't. Those people we need to take care of. We need social policies for those people who cannot work. People who will not work, you've got your uncles, your aunts, your tios, your cousins that you know of, you know dang well, that are out there, oh, my back. They're doing that 1 minute, then the next time they're in the club, dancing, woo. Those people, they need to get a job. And I think we need stricter regulations on those. If they're caught violating that system, they're collecting money from you and me. They're getting our money from us. Then they need to be punished. They're getting money from the feds. That should be a federal crime. So socialism in the Bible does not exist. Charity exists. If a man will not work, he doesn't get the bread. If a man cannot work, we should still take care of that person. We should still take care of those who cannot work. So, real quick word from one of our sponsors, headcount.org. So, are you registered to vote at your current address? Did you know that you could be possibly registered to vote at a wrong address? I just had to go make that change myself. More than 60% of eligible voters have never been asked to register. Headcount.org is working to change that. At headcount.org, you can also check your registration status. Millions of people get purged every year from voter rolls. Everyone should check their registration status every year. The deadline to register to vote in some states is as early as October the 4th. That's just a couple days away, maybe a week or two away. So you want to check your status before then. You can also register an absentee ballot, get info on early voting, find your polling places, or see what's on your ballot. And that's really important. What's on your ballot? Not just the president, not just the senators or Congress, but your down ballot items as well. I am passionate about that. You've got your local city councils, you got your county commissioners, mayors, all of those little local offices, they matter too. Headcount.org is a nonpartisan nonprofit that tours with musicians They go with bands and with musicians, and they help concert attendees register to vote. But you don't need to leave your house. In this crazy environment that we're in right now, where concerts are small, few and far between, you don't need to leave your house to register to vote or get voting information. It's as easy as going to headcount.org. So go right now. Go pull up a browser. Go to register to vote at headcount.org and do it now. So this segment, now that I've got the coffee, I've got my morning power drink here. Ooh. I've got a little bit of pre-workout. They're not paying me to say the name of the pre-workout, and I've got some amino acids in here, so they're not paying me to say the name of that either. So I'm not going to say it, but you know what? I will say the flavor. Oh my goodness, it's just good. I've got the pre-workout is Welch's grape. I could say that. And then I've got a fruit punch for the amino acid in here, and delightful. And so let's get back into some more of the Latino conservative. Yesterday, Kentucky AG Daniel Cameron announced that the grand jury has decided to only proceed with charges for one of the 3 officers involved in the shooting and killing of Breonna Taylor. No homicide or murder charges are going to be filed on the state level. So there's 2 investigations that were going on simultaneously. The state investigation, which is one that the Kentucky AG is the official prosecutor, he's a special prosecutor on. That one has officially ended. The only charges that are being filed on there are against Brett Hankins. He was already fired from the force, but he's got 3 counts of wanton endangerment, which is basically going and putting someone's life in danger. He's facing 3 counts of that, and each one of those has a maximum sentence of 5 years in a federal prison. One thing about this announcement that I really commend the Attorney General, Kentucky AG, on doing was he really defined the separation. There's two investigations. The state has their own obligation to their investigation. They did that. There is still a federal investigation going on with the FBI. They're still proceeding with their investigation. It hasn't ended yet because it's not one of these, double ding type thing, double jeopardy or however you want to see it. There's separate charges. You can be filed for separate charges at a separate time. What people are already, and I've seen this happen already. Sorry, guys. Time to take my meds. I will do that later. But what some people are already saying is that, well, if they charge him once, he can't be charged again. That's incorrect. He can't be charged again, or they can't be charged again for the same crime. They can be charged for different crimes. Now, what happens a lot of times is somebody, and you see this, you can watch crime CSI investigation, whatever, NYPD, whatever show your crime show is, they will find one reason to get somebody in jail or one reason to charge somebody. While they are being charged for that, there's another investigation going on to see if there are any compounding charges that they could possibly bring on. And I believe that that's what's going to go on here. Don't know for sure yet. I'm not the legal analysis. I'm not the expert on Kentucky's laws, but that's just where I see what's going on. Another thing that he was really, really elegant in doing, and I really commend him on his address here, was making sure that everybody knew that though the charges weren't filed, something bad happened. We lost a life, and he is absolutely right. The American people lost a life. She was in her house. She was asleep. There's multiple stories on that. He said that the evidence shown that the police did knock. He said that witnesses and camera footage confirmed that fact. He said also that people were standing and already shooting. One officer had been shot in the leg before they started firing their weapons. His words, not mine. You can take that how you want. I'm not arguing the fact of what happened. What I am saying here is that something bad happened. Whether guilt or not guilt, it's It's not my call, and it's not our call either. And I'm going to go back a little bit. Back to that whole, right before the segment, right before this, talking about the Bible. Think about 2,000 years ago, city of Jerusalem. And yes, in case you didn't know, I'm a conservative Christian. So I'm not an Bible expert, but I know a little bit about it. So think about 2,000 years ago, the city of Jerusalem. There's a man there, two men actually, Barabbas and Jesus Christ. The verdict was left up to the people. The same guy that came to save the world, that people loved, just a few days ago, they were all, they were showering him. He came in riding on a donkey on palm leaves. They celebrated him just a few days prior. All of a sudden, we're saying to crucify him. And I think that's what's going on right here. Right away, right after this announcement was made, protesters took to the street again. It was a protest to start off. I will give it that. I am a proponent. Is that the right word? I am an advocate for peaceful protests. I love them. I'd like to participate in one peacefully. Go stand up for your rights. However, in this same day, in this same night, 2 officers were already shot. Why? I hear and I see justice for Breonna Taylor. We need justice for Breonna Taylor. Do you really want justice, or do you want revenge? Do you really want justice, or do you want a guilt verdict? Representative Al Green in Houston also made the comment, I want to see Breonna Taylor get the same exact justice that an innocent 26-year-old white woman would get in the same instance. Okay, I get that, as it should be. She should have the same exact treatment, same exact justice as a 26-year-old white woman. Because in my eyes, you take that word white and you take that word black, you take them out. She should get the same exact treatment as a 26-year-old woman. For that fact, you could take woman out, take gender out of it altogether. She should get the same exact treatment as a 26-year-old, innocent 26-year-old. People putting that race card into it, the only way we're going to end racism is if we end it. Stop referring to each other as black, white, Mexican, Latinos, whatever. We're Americans. Even if you're here illegally, to be honest, even if you're here illegally, you're still American because you still wanted to come to this country. But that's a whole different topic. But do you want justice or do you want revenge? We cannot be the crowd that's yelling, crucify him. We can't be that. We're turning into that crowd. And what happened? An innocent man died. The Savior died. So now, here's a little endorsement.
This is a movement like we've never seen in the history of our country.
Wisconsin is Trump country.
And that's what this fight is all about. We're taking on the failed political establishment and restoring government of, by, and for the people. It's the people. You're the people. You won the election.
We love this country. We love Donald Trump.
Promises made, promises kept.
We support President Trump.
This is epic.
Donald Trump is our president!
With every last ounce of heart and hope and sweat and soul, we are going to make our stand. We are going to stand for liberty. We are going to stand for justice. We are going to stand for freedom. And we are going to stand for the sacred rights given to us by the hand of Almighty God. You joined our movement, the greatest movement in the history of our country. You protected your family. You defended your dignity. You recaptured your destiny. And you took back your country with that great election 2.5 years ago. We are one united movement, one united people, and one United States of America.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
You have always been loyal to this nation. Now you finally have a president who is loyal to you. Every day between now and November 2020, we are going to keep on working, we are going to keep on fighting, and we are going to keep on winning, winning, winning. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you.
Okay, welcome back, guys. Now, back to this coffee. So next on the list, this is a crazy, abnormal year. Nobody has any doubt on that. 2020 has been crazy. On the last political thing that we could possibly have had happen in such a short time, we had a Supreme Court Justice, Ruth Ginsburg. She passed away. My condolences go out to her. And, I honestly, I do apologize, but I failed to mention condolences to the family of Breonna Taylor. It's really a bad thing losing people. I know that. I've lost close people to me just recently. I know the feeling. Thank goodness for antidepressants. But we just lost Supreme Court Justice Ruth Ginsburg. The Democrats are right away saying we need to wait to vote or to elect, or we need to wait to confirm the new Supreme Court Justice. And quite honestly, the most normal thing we could probably do right now is actually vote one. There's been more votes for Supreme Court justices in election years than off of election years. This is plain and simple fact. In fact, Ruth Bader Ginsburg also said that's their job when referring to electing a Supreme Court justice. She said that in 2016, she was asked if Senate had an obligation to act on President Barack Obama's nomination of the U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals Justice Merrick Garland. There's nothing in the Constitution that says that a president should stop being a president in an election year. And the only thing that conflicts with right now, being this close to the election, is campaigning. And quite honestly, in 2016, she was right. We needed to vote a justice back then. So as we grieve with her passing, we must acknowledge that she's still right today. Democrats and their media allies are saying it would be unfair for Senate Republicans to fill the seat in this election year when we refused to do so in the last presidential election year. But any close examination of the facts should show that it is perfectly consistent. In 2012, the American people voted to re-elect Barack Obama for another 4 years of presidency. In 2014, the American people elected a Republican majority in the Senate, and so when Justice Antonin Scalia died in February 2016, the relevant institutions were split between the two parties. President Obama exercised his constitutional authority and his constitutional duty and nominated liberal Justice Garland to replace Scalia. The Senate exercised its constitutional authority and refused to confirm Garland. This is the constitutional process and the historical norm. There's been Supreme Court vacancies arising in election years 29 times in American history, and 10 of those cases, the presidency was held by one party and the Senate was held by a different party. 9 of those nominees were rejected by the Senate, just like Garland was rejected. On the other hand, there's been 19 times when the Supreme Court seat became vacant in an election year where the president and the Senate were the same party, and only one nominee was rejected that entire time. Abe Fortas was rejected. And Abe Fortas was rejected on a bipartisan basis after an ethics scandal. All other nominees were confirmed in an election year. So this guy, Abe Fortas, he wasn't rejected just because he was Democrat or just because he was the other party. He was rejected because of ethics. Big thing there, ethics. And he's the only one where there was a different party that was rejected because of that. It's just not because of, political views or political this, that, or the other. See, the court isn't designed to be the lawmakers. That's not their role. The courts are designed to be the law enforcers. Congress and the Senate, if they're to pass a bill, it would go to the president. So there's two branches. There's a House, which is the House of Congress and the House of Senate. They work together, get a bill. They go to the president. He gets the bill. The court decides if it's constitutional or not. They're not there to make the laws. They are there to determine if the law is constitutional. So what's going on now is you've got these Democrats that are saying it is not their job right now. We should wait to have a new justice elected. Okay, I can see why they're doing that. They don't want to put the work in right now. The Senate, there's a lot of senators, a lot of Democratic senators that are up for re-election right now. And if they go to this confirmation hearing, they are taking away from their campaigns. The Democrats really are looking for control of the Senate. I personally am of the belief that if you have a Congress that's ruled by Democrats, you should have a Senate that is the majority Republicans and vice versa. The whole checks and balances thing. Yes, I'm Republican. I will come out and say that, but I still believe that we do need that checks and balances there. And going through the hearings and going through the confirmation trials of a Supreme Court justice would take away from the Democrats' campaigning period during this election year. That is the only reason why that they're doing this. And they're saying stuff like, we are going to pack the court if they do this. Now, what is packing the court? Right now, there's 9 justices right now. You need that odd number so there's no stalemate. You don't have a 4-4 vote. You need that one extra vote there for something to happen. And you get that 9th one because you have 4-4, then you have the decision maker. We need that. We need that decision maker. Otherwise, the elections, for example, they could go on and go on and go on. If the court needs to come up and help make a ruling on the elections, there could be a 4-4 stalemate. If we don't elect a new justice, then we won't know who our president is. Then, actually, we do know who our president is going to be after elections. If we don't come to a decision, it's going to be Nancy Pelosi, and screw that. Do not want to see her in office. Cannot see her in office. We will turn into a socialism real quick off of that. She's the Speaker of the House, and the role of the Speaker of the House is basically the vice president. She is the third in command. The media is playing this up too. And just real quick touch on the media. People believe what the media is saying. They are controlling what you are thinking. The Democrats are controlling the media. The media is putting the message out there. If you don't think they do a good job of making you believe what they want to believe, look at Disney. How many networks does Disney own? Disney, they tell stories. They are the best at it. Star Wars. They own Star Wars now. Harry Potter. I believe they own the rights to Harry Potter now too. Just think growing up, all the stories that you believed as a kid growing up, that was all Disney. Peter Pan. Cinderella. They're good at that. That's their job. They make you believe, and they are doing a good job right now of making you believe everything that the Democratic Party is putting out there. And they've got tons of money to do that, to put that message out there. So don't always go off of what they say. Just because the Democrats are saying that this is a horrible thing, that we're electing a justice during an election year right after she passed, that's the constitutional duty. We need to do that. We need the the ninth judge, the odd man out, to be able to make choices, to be able to get things passed. So it was the Democrats, not the Republicans, who in the 1980s established ideological limits tested for high court justices. And it was the Democrats and not the Republicans who in 2013 nuked the judicial filibuster in the Senate, which required 60 voting supremacies to confirm justice. Replacing Justice Ginsburg should not be controversial. It would instead reduce the likelihood of political controversies being settled by unelected judges in the first place. That's what the left's really freaking out about. They are saying that we're trying to control, that Republicans are trying to control everything, when in fact, Republicans are really and truly the party of the small government. We don't want to control individuals' rights. We want to give them the freedoms. But the Democratic Party are about making new rules. We need bigger government. We need to make sure that under the guise of everyone has equal rights, we want to control you. If you really think socialism works well, I've got a good friend of mine that I just met, and I call him a good friend, real good friend. He is running for city council in Pearland. But this gentleman came from Venezuela, and he migrated over here and went to college, got his degree. He now teaches at Alvin Community College. He does some credit courses at Alvin High School. The dude left because of the Democratic Party in Venezuela. You know, Venezuela used to be one of the most profitable countries out there, you know, great oil. But when the Socialist Democrats took over, that went to hell. And he left because of that. So this gentleman who's a great guy, intelligent guy, plenty of academic credits out there, teaches, you know, he teaches college. Come on. He's a great guy, smart guy. He left because of the Democratic Socialist Party. And that's what's exactly going to go on right now. We've got Democratic Socialists out there that are trying to take over the country. And they're saying that we are doing the bad thing, when the bad thing, quote unquote, big air quotes, that the Republican Party is doing is the same thing that they're trying to do earlier. You know, kind of hypocritical. Even Barack Obama said that we have to select a judge during an election year. So in truth, leftist outraged mobs and political press don't really want a Supreme Court impartial judges at all. Instead, they really want a permanent constitutional convention controlled by a woke group of philosopher kings and queens imposing leftist policies that the American people can't be bullied into supporting. And that's what it's about. They're bullying us. And it's working. I can't tell you how many personal friends of mine are out there, and because of the message and the narrative that they're giving, they are totally on the Democratic side because they've been bullied. And, you know, me personally, I'm not afraid of people. I will go and stand up to anybody. But I know that if I wear my Trump hat or my MAGA hat or, you know, my Blue Lives Matter shirt or whatever, I know if I go out in public with that, somebody is going to try to step up to me, and it's not going to be pretty. I just choose not to do that because the leftists really like to bully, and it's a fact. How many kids have you seen on Facebook or YouTube where they're wearing they're Trump supporters? These kids, these little minors, 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, have a grown man go and hit the hat off their head, basically assaulting this kid because he's a Trump supporter. He is expressing his right. I even read a story where a man put a sign in his yard, Trump Pence sign in his yard. His son gave him an ultimatum. Either denounce your support for Trump or you won't get to see me or your grandkids again. What kind of crap is that? Someone's political views should not at all interfere with, you know, a grandparent's love or a father's love. It's one thing I'm totally grateful. My ex-wife and I don't see eye to eye on a lot of things. We actually see eye to eye on a lot of political stuff, but I know she would never do that. My son and my daughter, they are like my son and my daughter, they're like polar opposites in their teen years when it comes to political views. They both respect each other's views totally 100% though. And it's fun. I love hearing them get into debates, and they keep it kind. I wish more adults would do that. They keep it respectful. They keep it kind. And my daughter and I, we talk about stuff. She tells me her opinion. She tells me her feelings. And she has actually been a really big influence on how I see social issues. I love how she has an open eye to other topics that I would normally not see, not because I'm blind to it, but because I don't know that they exist. She has opened my eyes to a lot of that. My son has as well. They see it from the low point. They see it from the kid's view. And I wish more adults would see that, view things as a kid would. That is the same thing that I've seen back, to the preaching part of it. Somebody was asking about, how should they read the Bible? I heard a pastor say, read it like a kid would read it. In today's mentality, we've become too smart sometimes for our own good. If you take it back a notch or two, look at it from a kid's perspective, you can humble yourself by what you thought you knew. So being bullied out there, it's real. I've been bullied. I've seen kids bullied. My daughter has been bullied and my son stood up for her. I've seen it happen. Great. Love it. Bullying is wrong, whether it's physical bullying, mental abuse, bullying, political view bullying. It's just wrong. And so another quick video, another support video. Here we go.
This is a movement, I'm telling you. They're not going to stop, and they should not.
These people are tearing up our livelihood.
A third straight night, Portland police declared a riot.
The vast majority of the protest has been peaceful.
Over the weekend, 59 officers injured and 47 people arrested.
New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio announcing a proposal to cut $1 billion from the New York City Police Department.
We need to completely dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department.
This has been declared a riot.
You won't be safe in Joe Biden's America.
Okay, I'm back, guys. And again, I really do apologize if you're picking up on the lawnmowers and the weed whackers, whatever out there. I'm not in a controlled studio by any means. I'm in a hotel room. I travel for work. But here's a little funny article about the justice nominees. And you got to leave it to the Babylon Bee to do this one. In fact, I think I'm going to put this segment in each time now. Little known justice, Tedina Cruzette, throws hat in ring for Trump's SCOTUS consideration. Oh my goodness. If you haven't seen the picture of that yet, here it is. Now, Ted Cruz is my guy. Love the guy. But this is awesome. The Babylon Bee does it again. In case you see articles out there about the Babylon Bee, just know it is satire. It is great. It's kind of like The Onion. I don't know if you remember. It's been a while ago, but China was really, 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 really butthurt over some articles on The Onion. They thought that the United States was really going to do something, but it was a satire site. Same thing with the Babylon Bee. So you've got Tedina Cruzette out there. My goodness, look at this. In fact, Ted Cruz even put this on his site. It's just hilarious. Check this out. I'm going to put a link to that article, actually. I feel like I'm obligated to put a link to that article down in the description below, so there you are. Hey, guys, thanks again for tuning in this time. Any questions, please reach out to me. Absolutely look forward to meeting everybody in the comments. Drop me some comments. Show me some love. My name is Andrew Alvarez, and I'm the Latino Conservative.